Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 154. Thank you for joining us, as always, on this irradiated Wednesday evening. Earth date, March 23rd. It's May 2018. I don't know why I said March.
It's May.
It's May 23rd, 2018. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me, as always, my co-host, Brandon Full. Say hello, Brandon.
It's May.
It's May. It's gonna be May.
Hello, Remington.
Hi. Did it drive you nuts seeing that meme like all
1,000 times
for the first fucking week of May?
Yeah, I thought it was funny when I first saw it too.
Yeah, I thought it was funny like 3 years ago when it came out.
Yeah, after a while of seeing it, it was just like, okay,
Yeah.
your cleverness has disappeared now.
Yeah, I get it. It's gonna be May.
You shared it.
Yep.
And then everybody you knew shared it.
Proud of you.
You did it.
Social media is the worst.
It really is. Man, I need to get off Facebook.
Why is that?
Because it's just all old people. I need to get to what the kids are using now.
Twitters? You gotta get down with the Twitters?
Instagram, Snapchat.
I don't even understand that. Like
Tumblr.
Tumblr? Oh, no, you don't want to go down that Tumblr rabbit hole.
Down the Tumblr hole?
Yeah. It gets pretty weird pretty fast. It's like Reddit, only less constrained.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with weirdness.
Yeah, you like the weird.
Yeah.
The strange and unusual, because you yourself are strange and unusual.
What were you going to say about Twitter? Or you were saying something?
I don't know. Words are just spilling out of my throat.
Yeah, it's been forever. Let's just...
Yeah, this is word vomit.
Barf a dictionary onto the listeners.
I went to Twitter for... Tumblr. Sorry. Tumblr. I went to Tumblr for a little bit, and it gets, like... There are a few places in there where it's, like, bondage and sadomasochism and, like, 50 Shades kind of deals, and... Gets a little weird.
Are you judging people who are into BDSM?
No. I mean, I like to get a good whipping every once in a while.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, exactly. Cough.
Sorry, one sec.
That's good.
It's a phone call. Okay, sorry. I think it was a butt dial.
Okay.
Don't ever call me again, person who called me.
Yeah.
And interrupt this podcast.
How dare
Especially
you.
after taking 2 fucking hours to start.
Listen, man. I'm sorry. I'm a busy guy. And I like to have things to contribute as well.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all
well,
it is.
considering all of my stories, spoiler alert, are very tiny stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them are, and I think this is going to be a relatively quick podcast.
Yeah.
So.
After last week's 2-hour marathon.
Yeah. So, I mean, we might not even get through all of the stories that I have, just because I don't want to be here for fucking 2 hours talking.
Yeah, me either. I don't want to be here at all.
Oh.
I'm done. Podcast over. So until next week, Ogres. What if we just ended it right there? What if we were just like, we got shit to do?
I'd kind of cry.
I'm your host, Brandon Full. Good night.
I'd just be sitting here all alone talking to myself, I guess.
Yeah, you'd record an episode yourself.
No.
It would be like, remember the episode you and Danny did forever ago?
Yeah.
The one episode that I wasn't on?
Yeah.
I thought that episode was pretty good, but you guys the entire time were like, we don't know what we're doing.
It's hard, man. You and I have this established banter that very few people can come up to.
Yeah.
You know, you and I have this bar set so high that it's hard for anybody to come up from under it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we do so well bantering that I get this like big swinging dick in my head of like, man, I can do this podcast stuff. And then the couple podcasts I've been on where it's not with you,
yeah,
I come off like a total weirdo. Like I'm not funny and I sort of just ramble.
Yeah.
And it comes off like I've been heavily edited because they have to heavily edit me because I don't know when to stop talking.
See, the problem isn't with you. The problem is with them.
Mm.
And I don't mean
I like that line of thought.
I don't mean this to sound dickish, even though it kind of does. But I know your mannerisms well enough to know when to cut you off.
Mm.
Or to put in my 2 cents. And you let me put in my 2 cents because that's how we work. You see that I'm getting ready to say something to you and you stop talking and I say my thing and then we jump back into whatever we're talking about. So
Yeah.
it's all about our interactions with each other.
Yeah. That's why it loses something when you're just doing computer to computer or Skype recording.
Yeah, for sure, a little bit.
That was my problem on the episodes I was on too, was Skype recording. So
Yeah.
you have that pause between when you say something and when the other person hears it. So you're always doing that game of like, oh, nope, you go. You keep continuing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard for a host to, especially in podcasts where, it's a hobbyist thing almost.
Yeah.
It's hard for a host to jump in and say, okay, hold on a minute, let's...
All right, just shut the fuck up for a second,
Yeah,
Brandon. Let me
yeah.
continue on with what I'm talking about.
It's like with Bucky,
Yeah.
where I actually told him to shut up for a second.
Did you leave any of that in?
Some of it.
Bucky, shut up.
Bucky, shut up for a second.
So if you want to hear Remington berate a listener, listen to last week's episode.
And it really wasn't so much. I mean, part of it was because he was so excited to talk about it, but part of it was because of the whole thing that you were talking about, where there was a delay and he just kept talking and he didn't know that we were trying to get a word in.
Yeah.
You just go until somebody tells you to shut up, and sometimes that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
So you can't be afraid to do it.
To tell a guest to shut up.
To tell somebody to be quiet for a second, or just to hold on, or you don't have to be as rude as I was to Bucky, but that's just because that's the way we.
He's a friend of ours. If we were to have somebody on, because we've had guests before,
yeah,
I can't imagine you being like, remember the girl who did the podcast about Congress, where she would go read through congressional documents and we had her on. I can't imagine you being like, okay, now Jen, shut up for a second.
yeah. I wouldn't have done that to her, no.
Yeah.
Or anybody else that we have, except for Bucky, probably.
Man, I want to have David back on. I know this is totally off topic, but the guy who wrote comics and was the director.
Yeah.
I want to have him back on again. I really enjoyed that interview.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got accused of slobbing his knob, if you remember. by Nega Larry.
Yes.
Said, I really enjoyed this episode, even though Brandon slobbed his knob the whole time.
Yes, that's a thing that happened.
Yeah.
All right. Enough reminiscing and talking about how podcasts is made.
Yeah.
How are you?
I am good.
Good. It's getting a little warm in here already.
Yeah, I know. Well, the fan's been off for like the last hour, so I feel like it's at a level that it's not going to be any hotter than it was.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty cool outside. We've had a lot of rain the past 24 hours, and it kind of cooled everything off. It's really nice. I should probably get mow the lawn or something. Yeah, that's how I feel. I skipped last week. I might as well just skip this week and make it a jungle, right?
Are they really serious about having your lawns mowed in this area?
I will say that at some point, some neighbor has mowed my lawn.
Did they ask or did they just mow it?
Nope. They just mowed it one day.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think it's just because I was so busy at that time. I didn't have any kind of set schedule necessarily yet. Mm-hmm. And also, I think that might have been while I was mowing the radio tower sites as well. So, like, the thought of more mowing was not a very enticing thought.
I would be offended if a neighbor mowed my lawn.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess there was a part of me that was a little bit, but at the same time, I was like, hey, at least I didn't have to fucking do it.
Yeah, see, I would immediately get the like, who the hell do you think you are?
How dare you come onto my property and cut my grassings?
Make it look good.
How dare you?
My grassings.
My grassings.
So I, totally off topic here, but I DJ'd a dance or helped DJ a dance last weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, bring back those high school days.
I know, it felt like high school. It was for a senior graduation party.
Oh, weird.
It was a senior graduation party / little girl's birthday party.
Okay.
The parents did both at once.
Okay.
So the party was very not lit. It was the opposite of lit.
Did you lit the party?
The party was extinguished. I didn't really control the music at all. I basically sat there while the guy DJ'd the dance. I sat behind the booth with him and talked to him.
Oh, okay.
And I would take requests and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And there was a little bit of karaoke, but it was mainly the little girl and her friend singing along to whatever song was playing very loudly with the microphones.
Nice.
But I sang karaoke I've never sang karaoke before, and it's actually one of those things that I would think I would never do.
Right? Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't have a bad voice.
I just don't like singing in front of people.
Yeah. How was that for you?
It wasn't bad. This was after everybody had left, so it was just me and the guy I was helping DJ. And he was like, come on, you're going to sing. You're going to sing something. Because he kept trying to get me to karaoke the entire time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we sang Marcy's Playground, Sex and Candy
Nice.
together. And then he sang some country song that I don't remember. And then I sang Kryptonite by myself.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
So it was a little bit of stepping out of my shell, my anxiety shell to sing karaoke, because that's one of my big fears is like standing in front of people singing something. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it can be really rough. I mean, I remember when I sung solo at a wedding and I was nervous as shit. Like me, who has experience being on stage and in front of people.
Yeah.
I was nervous as shit. When you're running solo, man, is it tough.
Well, especially because you were singing NWA.
Yeah, exactly. At a wedding. I mean,
the police.
It wasn't my choice. I was just doing it as a favor.
Yeah. They forced you to sing the N-word, too. You were like, guys, I'm not okay with this.
Yeah.
But it's your wedding, I guess.
Yeah, it was really awkward.
Well, singing in front of people is something that I've got more comfortable with
Yeah.
on a one-to-one basis. I mean, I've sung on this podcast before as a joke, which
Yeah.
is something I would think I would never do. And this goes out to more people than was at this party.
Sure, but there's a definite disconnect there.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't have everybody's eyes in front of me.
Yeah.
Those 2 or 3 listeners from Vietnam aren't judging me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're judging you, but it doesn't matter because they're in Vietnam.
Yeah. So I did that. I also watched Deadpool 2.
Oh,
Mhm.
very nice. How was that?
It was good.
Now,
It was really funny.
Now, was this in Mexican as well?
No, this was in a language I didn't recognize.
Okay.
But this was way higher quality than Infinity War was.
Oh, that's good.
This actually looked like they had a nice 1080p camera they were recording it with. So it was a pretty good experience for me. There was a little bit more echo on it than normal,
Yeah.
but otherwise it was a really good quality camera recording.
That's good.
Yeah.
Does it... I'm going to get a little deep here.
That's
And
fine.
Does it really bug you that this fear of going to the movies is a thing?
Yeah, a little bit.
I really I can't imagine. Like I don't go to the movies just because it's expensive and I have to leave my house and things, but it's not because I have any anxiety issues.
Well, that's a big part of it too, is I just don't want to go to the movies. I don't enjoy the experience of sitting in the movie theater.
Yeah.
So it's not the anxiety that's really the defining factor for me.
Okay.
It's more I just don't like going to the movies. But the anxiety is in there too. But
Right.
yes, having certain things that I can't do or that are hard for me to do because of the anxiety drives me crazy.
Yeah.
And it's
I can
something
imagine
like,
how frustrating it is.
yeah, frustrating is the right word.
Yeah.
And it's something I've been working on and continue to work on with like workbooks and the DARE method is what it's called.
Okay.
That I've been trying to use. So there's certain things I can do that I wouldn't normally. Like I woke up today and I was super panic attack mode all day. Like I still am right on the verge of it.
Right.
But you know, I had shit to do, so I still got up and I came over here and I went to record, and
Yeah.
I have stuff to do after we finish recording, which is why I was trying to get you to hurry the fuck up earlier.
Sorry.
Because
Let
I
me know
still have things I have
beforehand.
to do. But yeah, so I lost my train of thought there. But
You know, it's interesting though that you brought up Deadpool 2, because apparently I was reading behind the scenes and this and that. You know, I've been trying to keep up on the Deadpool stuff because I have a man crush on Ryan Reynolds,
mhm.
and apparently he suffers fairly heavily from anxieties of his own,
yeah,
and he uses an app called Headspace to kind of keep him. I went to look it up, but I didn't install it to see what it was about.
okay.
It's a meditation and mindfulness app, and guided meditation for everybody. Fun animations to help guide your practice, daily meditations and mindfulness exercises. So basically, just more ways to engage your brain in calm, soothing thoughts. I would assume,
Yeah,
because that's kind of the crux of the anxiety, is that your thoughts and feelings get away from you and you can't quite rain them down. Is that
Yeah, and when
kind of
it
a
just-
fair?
you just have this fear like your heart is racing, like there's something major you have to do, like you're just about to give a big public speech, so your heart's racing, but there's no reason for it to be racing. So your mind is trying to process it. Your body is telling you like there's something to be afraid of. You got to get out of this situation, but your mind is trying to process why.
Right.
But then also, yeah, what feeds into it is your thoughts start racing.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So, but I have an app I haven't used in a while called Pacifica. That's a bunch of meditation apps and stuff and like mindfulness things too.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very interesting that there are apps out there that can also help with these things.
Yeah.
So what did you think about Deadpool 2 coming back to it?
Ryan Reynolds kills it in Deadpool 2.
Oh,
Deadpool 2 was very good. Cable was awesome. I want to talk about it so much, but it's just out, so I don't want to give any spoilers.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a character that's in it that I was not expecting to be in it. It's kind of a surprise reveal character. So I can tell you off air who it is. I don't want to spoil it yet.
It's not the Invisible Guy, is it?
The Invisible Guy?
Yeah.
No, that's a celebrity cameo, though.
Yes, it is. Well, apparently, I don't know if I want to give it away, but the cameo, the person was supposed to play Cable, but he couldn't.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That would have been an interesting Cable.
Yeah, I think so, too.
There's one part that there's one joke that made me laugh that I will spoil. This is very early on.
Okay.
What starts the whole chain of events is Deadpool is depressed because something happens. So Colossus gets him to join the X-Men as a trainee. So Deadpool is in the X-Mansion and he's in Professor X's wheelchair and he's rolling around and he's like, so all I've got is Colossus. The studios couldn't even spare any of the big name X-Men for my movie.
Yeah.
And he's like rolling around, Colossus chasing after him. And as he says this, you see in the background, there's like a parlor.
Yeah.
And it's all of the actors of the X-Men movie. So you have like Beast and Quicksilver and the guy who plays Professor X, James McAvoy, I think.
Yeah.
All of them in their characters standing there and they see Deadpool come by and just slowly shake their head no and close the door. And it's like this 5-second cameo. I really lost it there. That was funny.
That's cool.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about after it's been long enough to really discuss some of the Easter eggs. Like he calls, because it's Josh Brolin that plays Cable.
Yeah. Huh?
He calls him Thanos a couple times through the movie. Like, all right, Thanos, calm down.
Yeah. I've seen bits and pieces of non super spoily things. Like if I couldn't tell you how the movie is put together or what's happening in it, but some of the gags I've gotten through the media. So
well, and one of the things that I think is cool too is there's a lot of jokes in the trailers that are totally different jokes in the movie.
Okay.
Like there's a scene in the trailer where Cable is shooting at Deadpool and Deadpool's swinging his swords around.
Yeah.
And then at the end he's like, "Oh, those bullets are fast," or something like that.
Yeah.
Totally different joke in the movie.
Oh, really?
I don't remember what he says, but I was expecting that one-liner, and yeah, he says something totally different.
Oh, wow.
And there's a couple times that the movie does that, where the trailer showed a punchline that's entirely different in the movie.
That makes sense, too, because they said that there's a fair amount of it. I think this was in another interview with Ryan Reynolds where he said that somebody asked him about ad-libbing.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that there's not necessarily a lot of ad-libbing per se. It's just that they would do a scene over and over again, and a slightly different line might be used, and then they just end up picking from the lot.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of ad-libbing to a certain extent, but I
just going through and trying to find the joke that sticks.
Yeah. So.
And Domino in the movie, I have to say, is fantastic.
She looks fantastic in it.
Yeah.
Like, from the bits and pieces that I've seen, just her playing off. Early on, we got to see some interaction between her and Deadpool, and that had already kind of sold me on it.
Mm-hmm. Because her whole ability is she's lucky.
Yeah.
So the movie plays it off. When Deadpool first meets her, he's like, luck is not a superpower.
Yeah. And she's like, yes, it is. And he's like, agree to disagree.
Yeah, that scene plays out for like a minute of them just going back and forth like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. Like, it overstays its welcome so much that it becomes funny again.
Right.
But yeah, the way it shows a little bit in the trailer, how just everything, cars will flip over her and she just walks confidently as stuff's exploding around her and like light poles are dropping in front of her right as she hops over them.
Right.
Yeah, so they really play up the lucky aspect.
That's one of my favorite kind of superpowers is that luck-based one. Because isn't Scarlet Witch isn't her magic technically like a kind of a curse magic or something like that?
Yeah, she plays off of.
They don't really play it up in the films, but I've seen like in the cartoons and stuff where she has been featured, is that her superpower is a little more luck based or something like that.
I think she's supposed to manipulate probabilities and stuff.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah, I've always thought that those kind of superpowers were a little more fascinating because they're a little more obscure.
Well, you played that one class in D&D, the Fortune's Favored.
Yeah.
That was pretty much a luck-based class.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that too.
Which we never really did anything with.
No, we didn't.
Having seen this movie now, somebody playing a luck-based class, I would know a lot more of how to do them.
Yeah, I think that would be fun to revisit that class and at some point. I don't know if there's a 5e version or if I'd have to make my own 5e version.
Yeah.
But, I mean, 5e kind of, with having advantage or disadvantage, kind of gives you that anyway. I feel like a luck-based character would just always have advantage.
Yeah. Well, like I have greater weapon fighting on my fighter where I get to reroll a 1 or a 2 when I do damage.
Yeah.
So you would kind of have that. Like Eric's playing a halfling. Halflings get to reroll something or other. Because I remember he has because halflings are just more lucky.
Yeah.
So you'd have a lot of those abilities, rerolling damage, always having advantage.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Anyway, so what do we have story-wise? Oh, we didn't talk about what I've done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What have you done?
I don't know why I'm
Remington?
apologizing to myself, though.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Remington.
I was trying to move us along.
I'm sorry, me.
I got to... this is the first time, streaming has been kind of a thing, and I like to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time last night that I got to play with a bunch of people in the Discord group, Lurk Squad, that I'm part of.
Yeah.
And, usually I'll play kind of these freebie or these Humble Bundle-based bundle games that I've picked up. And a lot of them are indie, and a lot of them are single-player or story-driven, or just like little fun gimmicky driven like Action Hank.
Yeah.
That one was kind of fun.
That one was fun to watch.
Fun to watch, but kind of short played.
Yeah.
But this was the first time that I got to play with a bunch of people. And we squatted up and played Heroes of the Storm. So,
which is Blizzard's League of Legends-esque game, right? Their MOBA.
Yes, their MOBA. Yep. And it was a lot of fun. I haven't played it in a long while, and I'd never played with a team. And we were all in the Discord voice chat, and calling out positions and that sort of thing, and it was pretty intense. I actually didn't spend a whole lot of time paying attention to my chat, and I also realized about a quarter of the way through, maybe half of the way through, that they weren't coming through on the stream, like their voices weren't, and I feel like they kind of need to be, you know what I mean?
So it was just you talking.
Well, me not talking, actually, because a lot of time I was listening to them and then chiming in, being very coy, being very funny and quippy every once in a while. So like
it's just you making quips to nothing.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited for that replay.
Yeah.
But once I finally got that put in and figured out, everything was cool. I even asked somebody in chat though. I was like, "Can you hear these guys all right?" And they said, "Yeah." So I thought that I was good, but I noticed that they weren't coming out when they were talking on my meters.
So the person in chat was just lying?
I guess. Or didn't understand what I was asking. So, but that's cool. It's whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I had a lot of fun, stayed up way later than I should have, and slept until 1 o'clock, 12:30.
Yeah. Basically when I messaged you and was like, hey, I want to come over now.
Yeah. I was like, go ahead. I'm not ready, but go ahead.
And here we are, 17 hours later, ready to record a podcast.
He's not better, people.
No, not at all.
He's totally better. All right, so what do we got?
You have movie news, right?
I do have some movie news.
I'll hold off on my movie news then.
Okay, you want me to bounce into what I have, or do you want to?
No, I can go with something here.
Okay.
What would you say, Remington, is one of the most well-known smells of your childhood?
Well-known smells?
Yes.
Cedar chips.
Oh, from like your hamster cages and stuff?
Yeah. Like the wood bedding stuff.
Okay.
I'd say that's pretty fair. That's the first thing that really sticks out in my head that I can mention anyway.
Well, partially too, your parents kept you in a giant hamster cage, right?
Yeah, that too. So it was really comfortable, but then my allergies started kicking in as I got older and, I had to move to newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cedar chips was not the right answer, Remington. The right answer was Play-Doh.
Well, I remember the taste of Play-Doh.
Ew, really?
Yeah.
What does Play-Doh taste like?
Like really salty dough.
Ew.
Yeah.
Did you eat it?
Of course I did. Didn't you?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't put gross shit in my mouth.
It's non-toxic, Brandon.
I don't care about the toxicity of it. I care about the fact that it's not edible.
It's
not made
edible.
to be eaten.
It can be eaten.
Well, yeah, a lot of stuff can be eaten. A lot of stuff can be eaten that shouldn't be eaten. I would put Play-Doh in that category.
Well, you, sir, are mistaken.
I guess we'll just agree to disagree on this one, Remington. Hasbro has trademarked the smell of Play-Doh.
What?
Yes.
Fucking courts, why are you allowing this bullshit to happen? Don't let people trademark smells.
Well, I don't know. I'm with Hasbro on this one.
What? Really? Why?
Because the smell of Play-Doh is so... You smell Play-Doh and you know that it's Play-Doh.
But you don't have to do... Like, if you make homemade Play-Doh, it smells pretty much like Play-Doh.
Yeah, well, it's...
So now is Hasbro going to sue everybody who's making their own Play-Doh?
It's the specific mix of smells that makes Play-Doh Play-Doh.
Can we say Play-Doh more?
Play-Doh.
Play-Doh.
That makes Play-Doh Play-Doh. What do you think Play-Doh would have to say about Play-Doh?
That
I don't Play-Doh.
No.
That Play-Doh.
No.
Right?
No.
Does that work?
No.
Okay.
It works, but I don't want to acknowledge it.
All right. So yeah, trademarked smell.
That's why. Why would? But on the overreaching aspect of it, how do you feel about people trademarking smells?
I think if the smell goes enough with their brand, then it works.
So, well, I guess people have been kind of doing that with perfumes for years.
Yeah, exactly. So now Hasbro could make a Play-Doh scented perfume, and no other companies could infringe on that.
That would be interesting. Do you want to make a Dueling Ogres perfume?
You know Good Mythical Morning?
Yes.
They have their own fucking cologne.
Oh, then never mind.
No, that's the perfect reason why we need a Dueling Ogres cologne.
I don't want to do anything that Rhett and Link does.
Why?
Because I like them.
So we need to...
I don't want to copy off of people I like.
Fuck them, copy everything about them. They're popular.
They are.
They have their own cologne, for Christ's sake. What would our cologne smell like?
Brandon just sniffed himself in case that didn't come through on audio. How do you smell?
I don't smell great.
I mean,
you would put it out there. Don't smell great.
You would think that a perfume or that a cologne named Dueling Ogres, Ode to Ogres, may not necessarily smell good.
Buyer beware, really.
Would it smell like onions because we have layers?
Well, no, then we're cramping on Shrek style.
Yeah, but I mean, fuck that too, right? I like Mike Myers.
Yeah. Well, we're different kind of ogres than swamp ogres.
This is true.
We're cave ogres.
Yeah, we are more cave ogres. So would it smell like...
Caves.
It would smell like wet, damp...
Now you're on the right track.
Yeah, now we're getting there.
Wet, damp, fur.
Black, moldy,
cedar chips.
Yeah, bedding made from cedar chips. Probably have some like stalactite smells in there,
which are notoriously odorous.
Yes, odoriferous.
I think this all sounds really good.
Yeah, I'm down.
And we should continue this.
So anybody out there who works for a cologne and or perfume company, if you want to get on this hype train, let's make this shit happen, yo.
Just fly us out to wherever you are, and you can swab whatever parts of us you want.
Yeah, you can
make this cologne.
Any part of me is ready to be swabbed at all times.
Even the nerd hole.
Even the nerd hole, especially the nerd hole. That's where we want you to swab the most.
A subsidiary of the Nerdist podcast and our nerd holes.
That's a weird story.
So that's my Play-Doh story.
Took us to a weird place. I like it, Brandon. I want to get into some like technology news.
Ooh.
It's not super exciting, I guess, unless you're a big kind of a gamer or you like those powerful PCs and laptops. Acer and Razer both have just recently released, either fully released or released specs on their upcoming gaming laptops. Acer has the Predator gaming PCs. They have a Helios 500 notebook, which has a high refresh rate and is rocking Intel's 8th gen processor, the Core i9 8950 kilohertz processor. Also with 16 gigs of RAM, which are upgradable to 64 gigs, and a full terabyte of internal storage. And they're also, the display card is a GTX 1050 graphics chip with 8 gigs of DDR5.
Yeah, the specs on these are crazy.
Yeah. They also have the desktop side, which is the Predator Orion series, featuring a Core i7-8700 combined with 64 gigs of dual-channel DDR4 and up to 32 gigs of Intel Speedy Optane memory. I don't know much about that. I've not heard of that one, actually. See, people who are more in the know on these will know more, but I don't. Sorry.
Speedy Optane?
Optane, yeah. Intel's Optane memory. I think they just put the adjective speedy in there because this guy writes good.
More adjectives, god damn it.
Also rocking a GTX 1080i or any of the previous versions, depending on your budget. Also supports two-way graphics with SLI. Storage options include up to 4 512 gigabyte M.2 NVMe SSDs and 3 terabytes of standard hard drive space. So tons of room to put all of your games and things into. The Helios, which is the laptop, is going to retail in the neighborhood of $2,000, and the Predator Orion somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500. So these, like I said, these are just kind of short stories. Razer came out with their own gaming laptop. Now, the reason why I'm kind of pitting these up against each other is because they have kind of similar specs, sort of, but the difference is in the form factor. The Acer Helios is bulky.
Yeah.
It's big. I mean, if you think Alienware fucking gaming laptop, it has that kind of big, bulky feel to it. The look of it does.
It's the kind of laptop you could beat somebody to death with.
Yes, easily. The Razer one that I'm getting ready to talk about is this super thin. It's their next gen Razer Blade series.
Razer Blade.
Yes, Razer. Well, it's Razer. Come on.
Yeah.
They got to come up with those campy names.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible.
But it is very similar to a Blade though. So this is
you're not killing anybody with this one.
No, you're not. This is unless you sharpen up those bezels and slit their throats with it.
The Blade. I get it.
Yeah, you see what's happening there? So this is an upgrade to their previous Razer Blade. It claims to be the smallest gaming laptop in its class. It's got a 15.6-inch display, which is a bigger screen than the 14-inch model, the older model. The bezels around the edges are thinner, so you get more space out of the screen. The device weighs about 4.5 pounds, which is just a little bit heavier than the previous model. And it is boasting a 144 hertz refresh rate, a 4K touchscreen with 60 hertz refresh rate. They're powered by 8th gen Core i7 processor. You could either get it in the GeForce GTX 1060 or the 1050 when it comes to the processor. It's got 16 gigs of dual channel memory. Now, the previous version had the memory soldered in, so it was not upgradable. Mm-hmm. This one, you apparently can upgrade it. So that's pretty nice, and it also features up to 512 gigabytes PCI NVMe SSD storage. And it will support up to 2 terabytes if you wanted to upgrade. So
2 terabyte hard drive?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I think they mean a 2 terabyte SSD.
Yeah.
I don't think it has any internal space for a proper hard drive.
SSDs have dropped in price a lot lately. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, they have.
You can get a 120 gig solid state drive for like $40 now.
Yeah. I think what I have in my new build is a 250 gig M.2 NVMe, which is a little more expensive than just a standard M.2 that uses the PCIe Express or the PCI Express, because the NVMe uses a different architecture, so you get potentially a little more speed out of it, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Where just a standard M.2 uses the PCIe or the SATA connections. Yeah.
Because you have like the small one that looks like a chip of RAM, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. And the difference is in the actual, I forget what they call it, the routes that it takes, like to get the information back and forth.
Okay.
The normal ones that are a little cheaper use SATA, so there's a certain amount of bottlenecking that'll happen. Whereas the NVMe has a wider transfer bandwidth.
Do you notice a difference with it in your computer?
I have not used the previous one, so I can't really compare the speeds between the two. My Windows is zippy, but Windows 10 is kind of zippy now that they've worked most of the bugs out of it.
Yeah.
So, because Windows 10 is based kind of on a mobile platform anyway.
Windows 10 is still trying to grow on me.
Oh, yeah?
Mm.
I've gotten used to it just because the new computers that we got for work when we replaced the old systems, they came with Windows 10 installed.
Yeah.
So, for the most part, I've gotten used to using it.
Well, I mean, 90% of the computers I work on have Windows 10, so I can get around Windows 10 just fine.
Yeah.
But as personal use, it still is trying to grow on me some.
There's still places where I'm like, okay, I want to access this particular bit of information about my computer, and I have no idea where the fuck it is.
Yeah.
It's like you can still find it if you use a search function, and you can pull up the old-looking Windows 7, oh, here it is.
Yeah.
But you have to search for it. It's not readily available in the settings that they throw in your face.
Windows key X.
Yeah.
Best shortcut in Windows 10 to find anything from device manager to control panel. All of it under Windows key X.
I'll have to remember that because I don't.
Yeah, I learned that shortcut because otherwise, like you said, things are hidden in Windows 10 that it's like, how do I get to, I just want to see my fucking device manager windows.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you making this so hard for me right now?
For sure.
I don't know, Brandon.
Why don't you just use the settings panel? Because that's not what I fucking need. I want to look at my goddamn devices.
I don't know. I feel like Windows 10 would have more a voice of like a guy who's strung out on ecstasy at a rave.
And how would
like
that sound?
Thumping in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe a little robotic.
Okay, I guess.
I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. I don't have a whole lot of experience
British
with waves.
accent.
Yeah. Just Stewie with glow sticks.
Yeah, maybe the dude from Trainspotting.
Yeah. Or Roger with glow sticks.
Yeah.
There
you go. There's Windows 10 for you.
I'm having a real good time, guys. That's my shitty Roger impression, sorry. But speaking of gaming, since we got off on a tangent a little bit, Microsoft and the Special Olympics USA Games have teamed up to host the first ever video gaming tournament for the Seattle 2018 Special Olympics. They're going to feature a tournament which will take place Monday, July 2nd from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. in the Lyceum Room in the University of Washington Husky Union Building. Apparently they have...
The Husky Union Building?
Yes. Well, that's all right. What I'm more concerned about is whether or not I'm saying Lyceum right or not. Lyceum.
Lyceum?
Yeah. Apparently last month they had qualifier events that were held at Microsoft stores, and they have created 8 unified teams, and a unified team consists of an athlete with and an athlete without an intellectual disability. The teams will be playing Forza Motorsport 7, which is published by Microsoft, and I guess they're going to stack themselves up and see how they go.
Yep, you were pronouncing it correctly.
Oh, cool. Good. I'm glad. Phil Spencer, who's the head of gaming at Microsoft, said, "At Microsoft, we believe that gaming is for everyone, so we're proud to pilot the first gaming tournament at the Special Olympics USA Games this summer. Competitive video gaming is enjoyed by players around the world, and our goal with this pilot tournament is to challenge biases and break down barriers while providing an empowering and fun experience for all players. Many of our athletes are avid gamers, and research indicates playing video games can potentially boost cognitive and motor skills of people with intellectual disabilities," said Beth Knox, president and CEO of the 2018 Special Olympics USA Games. We are thrilled to partner with Xbox to bring the first ever gaming tournament to the USA Games. We hope everyone will come out and support the competitors in this pilot event. So, as the games are going on for the entire week at the Northwest Plaza at the Husky Stadium, they have a zone set up called the Fan Zone where you'll be able to play Forza Motorsport 7, Minecraft, and Super Lucky's Tale while other events are going on.
Huh, okay.
So, pretty cool.
Yeah, that is neat.
Kind of neat and exciting. I'm glad to see that esports has grown into a thing that we can also say, also be inclusive to our mentally and physically handicapped brothers and sisters.
Yeah. And since we're on video game news, I'll go ahead. I have this one too. The FTC sends letters to Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, Hyundai, HTC, and Asus about the warranty void if removed stickers that they have on their systems.
Okay.
That is illegal.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It violates the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, which says that no manufacturer charging more than $5 for something may put repair restrictions on a device it offers a warranty on. So, say, for example, you have an Xbox. They have the sticker on the back that says, if you remove this sticker, your warranty is void.
Right.
And they can tell you when you call them, like, hey, I want to send this back. Well, is that sticker still on there? If the sticker's gone, it means you've opened your machine for whatever reason, which means that we don't cover it under a manufacturer's warranty anymore. They can't say that. They're not allowed to do that.
Oh, really?
Because if you can open up your Xbox because your CD drive is broken and you can fix it yourself, but then something else catastrophic happens to it that's still covered under manufacturer's warranty,
right?
Legally, they still have to cover it. There's a certain expectation that if you can repair your thing that you've bought yourself, then you can still repair it without violating the manufacturer's warranty.
Okay, yeah.
But all of those companies say that you can't.
Gotcha.
Which is illegal. And it's been illegal since the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, which passed in like the 50s or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the FTC sends out these letters to these companies saying like, hey, you guys can't do this. And the letters that they sent out were leaked. And it basically gave these companies a limited amount of time to change their warranties. Or to change the way they word their warranties.
Okay.
So the companies haven't released their updated things yet. Because they could just ignore the FTC. Then the FTC goes after them. The companies pay like, okay, you got us. We'll pay a fine of however much.
Right.
And it's a balance of whether the fine is worth more than telling so many people no.
Yeah.
You've opened your system.
I mean, I'm of a mixed feeling on this.
Mm-hmm.
Just opening up my system should not void my warranty.
Right.
If I can effect repairs on a specific piece of my system myself, and I can get it to work, then I should have the right to do so.
Yeah.
I paid for it. It's my damn system. If I try to effect a repair and it doesn't work, and the thing that went bad wasn't through, standard use where it would be covered otherwise under the manufacturer, like if it was a manufacturer's defect, I wouldn't do anything with it. I would send it back to the manufacturer.
Yeah.
Because that's on them. They put a bad part into my system. That happens sometimes. You let the manufacturer take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
But say my disk drive goes bad just because I use it too much. That's standard use. And I should have the right to be able to open my system and repair that or replace that drive myself. And if it doesn't work, well, then that's on me.
Yeah.
Because I fucked something up. Did I lose you?
Kind of. Because if you were to go in and replace your CD drive yourself, and then the hard drive goes bad.
And I hadn't got to that yet.
Gotcha. Okay.
So now if I replace the disk drive because it went bad through overuse and it works, but then my hard drive goes bad because of a manufacturer's defect, that should still be covered by the manufacturer.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I think it should be part specific. Absolutely. If there is a heat issue in my motherboard because they didn't properly heat sink a chip, that's on them. Mm-hmm. That's not my fault. I mean, I could put a little heat sink onto it if I wanted to, but I shouldn't have to.
Yeah, and now they can say you open up, or what they were saying is you open up your system, you put more thermal paste on there, the thing still doesn't work. Now they can say, well, the sticker that says void if removed is gone, so sorry about your luck.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that the FTC?
Yes.
I'm glad that the FTC is kind of stepping in and saying, hey, this is a thing that you shouldn't be doing. But there are absolutely ways for companies to get around that. And in some cases, they should.
Well, and I would think if you send back your system because your CD drive stopped working, you tried to repair it and fucked it up. I would think if you then tried to send it back to the manufacturer, they would be able to tell and say, well, hey, this isn't
our work. This is
your work. It's
work.
not covered.
Right.
And which I think would still be fair to say would be covered.
Covered under
the act. This is getting convoluted. I would think that it would still be covered, that the company could say, no, we're not repairing it because you did this.
Yes.
And that would be okay with the FTC.
Yes, I think so too. I think that you would be all right to do that. If it's not a manufacturer's defect, it's basically a lemon law is what we're looking at. If there is a part that is proven to be a lemon, then it is the manufacturer's responsibility to repair or replace that part.
I didn't see what Hyundai was doing. Is it Hyundai? Is that how you pronounce it?
Hyundai.
I didn't see what they were doing.
Yeah.
But it was covered under this FTC sending out letter. So I don't know if they're doing, you have to go back to a specific Hyundai manufacturer to get your car worked on. Otherwise, it's not covered.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would guess is the closest thing in car terms.
It's possible. I have no idea. But yeah, I would say.
So hopefully we see some change there because, with my job at Japanese NASA, I work on a lot of systems and stuff come through the doors.
Yeah.
And as it stands now, we have to tell people, this voids your warranty just as a heads up.
Yeah.
Even though it shouldn't.
Right.
So this could be an interesting change in the...
in the dynamic of the JAPSA repair world?
Yes.
Okay.
And the repair world in general.
Yes. But specifically affects your job.
Yes. As a Japanese system repairman.
Yes.
Right underneath those beautiful rising sun rockets.
So let's move on to movie news then. The Rock is in the movies again for like the 12th time in half a year. He's doing another one called Skyscraper. Yeah,
and we saw a teaser image for this a couple months back.
Did we?
I don't remember
him
this. Jumping from a crane into the building.
Oh, okay.
Because people were complaining about it. Mathematicians were like...
There's no way.
We're figuring out the arc of his jump versus where he was trying to go, and we're like, yeah, there's no way he would make that window.
Right. Especially, he is playing a soldier of some kind. It was in the FBI. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They were doing a raid. This all happens in the trailer, so if you want to go watch the trailer for Skyscraper. He was caught in an explosion. He lost his leg, and he decides that he's not going to do that kind of a job anymore. He marries the woman who helped save his life in the hospital. They have kids. They get into this super high-tech, crazy skyscraper.
Like hologram. It's weirdly high-tech for how the rest of the movie is filmed.
Yeah, for sure. That tower, Nagatomi Tower, gets raided by some terrorists.
Is that what it's called?
No, it's not. That's a throwback to Die Hard.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Nakatomi Tower.
That's what this movie feels like.
It does.
The elevator pitch was like, it's The Rock meets Die Hard.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I hope I'm getting that right now. Hold on.
The Rock meets Die Hard in the future.
Nakatomi Plaza. So I was close.
Nakatomi Plaza. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, Hans Gruber is going to break in there and, take on The Rock. Bless his soul, because he's passed now.
Oh, yeah, that was Alan Rickman, wasn't it?
Yep, that was Alan Rickman. But anyway, going back to it, he survives this explosion, but he's missing a leg. So while there are absolutely athletes out there who can run, walk, swim, jump, and everything with prosthetics, the prosthetic that he's using, the kind of problem that I have with it is it doesn't look like it would be a prosthetic that would be good for running.
Yeah, it looks like... Especially for how futuristic the rest of the world is.
Yeah.
It looks like kind of an old school style prosthetic leg.
Yeah. Now, in the prosthetics world, they marry old school and newer prosthetics all the time. They're using older technologies that were from the get-go and melding them from Actually, I was just reading an article about this 3 weeks ago, where they'll use these old technologies because they're tried and true and they'll still work. But most of the time, most of the issues have to do with the way they fit onto the removed limb.
Yeah.
So that's where most of the focus tends to go. The other systems are pretty standard. But there is a difference between a running prosthetic and a getting around
walking
every day.
Around prosthetic.
Yeah, you're walking around leg. So.
Well, and you see him use it in the trailer to like prop a door open or something.
Yeah. And that's totally plausible. I mean, they're usually made from like titanium, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So titanium or usually some other very hard, sturdy, lightweight but flexible metals.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with a lot of it except for his range of motion with a prosthetic that I don't think necessarily. And I could be wrong. I don't have prosthetics. So maybe you can get around really well with a prosthetic like that.
So out of everything that happens in that trailer, your complaint
My
is
biggest
that
complaint
his
is
prosthetic leg wouldn't give him enough propulsion to jump off of that mega crane.
That would be my biggest gripe when it comes to it. Not the fact that, because there's a certain amount of suspended belief that I have when I go into a movie, because it is a movie. It's a movie.
Yeah.
But if we want to argue points of accuracy, I would think, having very little knowledge about prosthetics, that the walking around leg wouldn't be nearly effective enough to get him off of that crane and into the building.
Yeah. Not the fact that he climbs up this mega crane that is easily 100 stories tall.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
By himself,
Yeah.
His family's in danger, but I mean, come on, you're gonna get tired.
Uh-huh.
Whatever.
Not if you're The Rock.
Not if you're The Rock. Not if you're Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I just picture you in the movie theater. It gets to the part where he jumps off the crane and you're like, that's it.
I'm done.
I quit.
Nope. For sure.
Just popcorn spilling out as you're carrying out your giant drink and your popcorn.
I refuse. But I don't know. I mean, it's funny how much work The Rock has got over the past few years and how the movies, they're all action oriented. That's good. That's fine. That's what he wants to do. Sometimes comedy oriented, like the Baywatch one, or the movie that he did with Kevin Hart, where The Rock was the fat kid in high school, and then he ended up being CIA
like
or
a
something
secret
like
agent.
that. Yeah, exactly. I watched that movie and it was pretty good. I mean, that was a couple of years back.
Did it have like a Rush Hour vibe to it?
I would say a little bit. Only The Rock was a little more awkward. He was like intense, but like friendly at the same time.
Okay.
He was friendly intense. And then it actually has a fairly interesting plot twist toward the end.
Kevin Hart's a double agent?
No.
Oh.
But I thought it was good.
And then he was in Jumanji just recently.
Yeah, he was in Jumanji as well. He's got the Rampage movie. Is that out yet? Or did it?
It came out.
Okay. I didn't watch it, but...
You know, I have to say, as a total aside, I dated a girl who loved the movie Jumanji, the original, which is nothing wrong with that. I like Jumanji as well.
Sure.
But she called it Jumanji.
Oh, really?
And it drove me fucking insane.
Yeah, there's no U in there.
Yeah, but...
Well, I mean, there is a U, but not in that place.
The movie Jumanji came up pretty frequently in our relationship.
Yeah.
And every time she called it Jumanji, and I just didn't want to correct her. I didn't want to be like, why do you keep calling it Jumanji? It was just one of those things.
So what do you mean? It's
does.
Cool Whip.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things a person does. But every time it was like nails on a chalkboard. It was like, it's not Jumanji.
It's Cool Whip. Brandon, it's Cool Whip.
Jumanji. There's an
cool
A
whip.
in there. Manji.
Munji. Cool
yeah.
Munji. Cool Whip Munji.
So that's why the relationship didn't work.
And then you killed her.
Yes. I buried her. In the grund.
You buried her. You left the room and buried her in the grund.
Since we're on topics of Hollywood news, did you see Harvey Birdman is coming back?
What?
You were a big Harvey Birdman
I
fan,
love
weren't you?
Harvey Birdman.
He's
oh my god.
He's coming back for a half-hour special in the fall.
Oh, just that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But they've said that if the special does well enough, they might bring him back.
Damn it, I'm going to have to keep tabs on it so I can watch it and make sure that my fucking view counts in the, what is that called? The
Nielsen ratings.
The Nielsen ratings, yeah.
So I didn't watch Harvey Birdman a whole lot. You know the boss with the eye patch?
Yes.
He becomes president. So Harvey Birdman becomes like his Secretary of State, I think.
Okay. So now, mind you, the boss is played by Stephen Colbert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But all of the voice actors are coming back for this.
Oh, I imagine.
Yeah.
I imagine they had a ton of fun playing that fucking show.
What was the boss's personality? Was he a dick?
He was a self-absorbed, self-important dick, yeah.
So I have a feeling that this is going to heavily mirror modern times in our own presidency.
Probably.
That's probably what it's going to be going for.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it's going to be a huge social commentary on the Trump presidency.
Yeah, but there's a teaser image that came out with him dressed as like the president, Harvey Birdman following behind him with a briefcase, and then the fat hippo is there too, whatever his name was.
Hey, Harvey, you get that thing I sent you?
But yeah, there's not a whole lot to that story. That's all the news that's come out. It's just slated for sometime this fall. I just know that you were a big Harvey Birdman fan.
Yeah, for sure. I loved it. The fast pace of it and the weirdness. Because that's what I loved the most about it, is that all the things hit beats very quickly.
Yeah.
So it's just like boom, 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 boom.
And it was a little more, you could tell what was going on as opposed to like C-Lab or Aqua Teens, right?
Yeah.
Where it was just all over the place, made for people stoned, pretty much.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Harvey Birdman had a little bit more of a coherent plot to it.
Yeah, a little bit more, especially in some of the later episodes. Like when the fat hippo... See, I can't remember people's names. That's the darndest thing. Anyway, the fat hippo gets sent back in time somehow and becomes a god to the Neanderthal people. And they call him Sencha. Because did you get that thing I sent you?
Oh.
Yeah. That's very interesting, though. I'm pretty excited to see that. When did you say it was going to come out? Fall?
This fall sometime.
This fall sometime. Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to have to keep an eye out for it. So what do you think about Solo?
I really wasn't super interested. The trailers seemed cool, but it didn't really sell me on it.
Yeah.
But it seems to be getting really good reviews from people.
I think I kind of feel like some of these other people feel who are watching the reviews and stuff come out before they make a full decision, and it's getting good reviews, but it's not getting glowing great reviews, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it's a good flick, yeah, you should go watch it, but as far as Star Wars movies goes,
it's kind of right there in the middle.
It would be all right if you missed it, that sort of thing.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because Han Solo, you would think a Solo movie, would be something that people would want to see.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I felt, but I also didn't feel that hype.
Like, I love Han Solo, too. I grew up loving Han Solo.
I really, Chewie especially is one of my favorite characters. I identify well with the hairiness, but I didn't feel the hype for it, and I don't know why.
It was kind of plagued with rumors coming out that Alden Ehrenreich was not that great of an actor, that there was an acting coach on set the entire time.
Oh, really? Yeah. And then, of course, they lost a director like 3/4 of the way through, and they brought Ron Howard on to finish it out and had to do reshoots.
He doesn't really look like Harrison Ford at all.
Yeah. Yeah, he really kind of doesn't.
I think they should have just put Harrison Ford in the movie and given him like a backwards hat. And trying to pass him off, like give him baggier clothes.
And he just,
what's up, you teens?
And he just absolutely looks like he doesn't want to be there.
I'm young like you.
Doesn't.
I'm on Tumblr, god damn it. Space Tumblr.
I think that that would not have tested well.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I could. The funniest thing, there's Han Solo in snow gear right here. I've got a little pop vinyl figurine here. Yeah,
I see that. It came in a loot crate.
Yeah, that was actually, I think that was an apology loot crate that they sent me.
Oh, for not sending you the...
Yeah, for being behind, and it had like half of the things that a loot crate should have in it, and that was one of them.
Huh.
Yeah, so I don't know. It didn't have a shirt or anything. It was just like, here's some junk that we threw in there for you. And I thought that was supposed to be that loot crate. There was no explanation or anything why I got that.
Oh, okay. So were you disappointed when you got it?
Yes, I was. I don't know if it was supposed to be part of the second month's loot crate that I got, or if it was just a random thing that they threw together. Yeah, I was like, Oh, nah, bitch. It was a rough time with Loot Crate.
Yeah.
So I won't be ordering from them again, for sure.
Do you still have any more months, or are you?
Yeah, I've got one more month coming, and then I'm canceling my sub.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it was completely unnecessary. If there was just more communication, that would have been better. Updates, even every other week would have been nice. Because it took, a whole extra month.
Oh my God.
For that Loot Crate to finally get to us, for the people who didn't get it. And I mean, when I got it, I was happy and I got the things that I wanted, or the things that I was promised.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it soured me on the whole thing.
I would be annoyed too. I mean, that's part of the fun of Loot Crate, I would imagine, is you get a crate every month.
Yeah.
And you know what you're going to get, and you're excited to see, like, what are the mystery parts and what are the things I know I'm getting.
Right.
And then you just don't get it for an extra month.
Yeah.
That would be annoying.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway.
Yeah, the whole Solo thing, I mean, I'm excited to watch it. I don't even think I want to watch it. I don't think I'm going to watch it Mexican Handycam style. I'm going to wait till it comes out and get it on Blu-ray.
Okay.
Lando, I'm not super sold on. I was never a huge Lando fan.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike him, but I never saw Lando and thought, man, I really want to know more about his story.
Right.
Even as a kid.
See, I kind of like the cool factor, and it would be nice to explore him a little bit more. But at the same time, I can see where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm certainly not averse to knowing more about Lando.
Yeah, I'm not averse to it either. I don't know how much I needed. Well, and I talked about this on Sunday. I mentioned it, that the writers came out and said that Lando is pansexual.
Yeah, which I think everybody kind of knew anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just how the character has been played, as this I will flirt with anything kind of.
Yeah.
And I mean, being pansexual puts a lot of, I don't know, I think it's almost a misrepresentation. I mean, I haven't seen Solo, but speaking for the stuff with Lando that I have seen in the movies and the cartoons up to this point, or the animated series, he's more flirty than anything else. Yeah. And that's not a proper representation of pansexuality.
Can you explain to me what pansexual is? Because I am not 100% sure.
I think it would probably be best to go ahead and just pull up a textbook definition. That way I don't stumble over my words.
Because it's different than bisexual.
Yes, it is. So, textbook definition would be not limited in sexual choice with regard to biological sex, gender, or gender identity. So, bisexual would be only preferring males and or females, regardless of your gender. Or pansexual would be you really don't care what their sexual identity is.
Okay.
So, they could be bisexual, they could be or cisgendered, or any of the other myriad of things that we have compartmentalized.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not get me on that topic. Because I was just talking about it with Ginger last night and got myself a little worked up.
Yeah.
I will leave it at this. I hate compartmentalization. I think it separates us as a society, and I think this idea of inclusion while separating everybody is stupid and counterintuitive and damaging overall.
Well, I'll have you know, Remington, since we started recording, I actually got on Tumblr.
Yeah. And
I completely disagree with everything you've said now.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to let the world know.
Okay.
How wrong I think you are.
Okay.
And I dyed my hair too.
Okay. Random interjection. There is a product out right now that's like it's a hair wax that has like colors in it that you can just give yourself a pop of color and it'll wash out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. I really kind of want some.
I don't think it would work as well with our hair.
I don't know.
My hair is pretty dark black.
No, I mean, there are people putting it in like dark black hair.
Oh, and it works?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. I don't remember what it's called. It's like stupid expensive for a small can of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll never buy any, but it does look really cool. I'll wait for the aftermarket shit to come out.
Could you have your hair dyed at work?
I'm the manager. So
yeah, you could throw a pop of red in your hair if you wanted to.
I guess I could if I wanted to. I mean, my owner might not necessarily be happy with me about it, but if I'm not rocking it all the time, I don't know.
And if you're still making sales, I mean, I imagine that's what your owner really cares about.
Yeah, that's the truth. I don't think that would stop me from making sales or anything.
If you have facial piercings and stuff, but you're killing it in sales.
Yeah.
I imagine you could get away with a lot more.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I've gotten to the point that I am aware of my age and how it's not necessarily cool per se to be that guy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that I don't want to play dress up every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. We've got there now. We can't have nose rings anymore, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we could, but then we'd be like, oh, there's that old guy with the nose.
The guy with the nose ring, yeah.
Yeah.
If we had neck tattoos, we could have nose rings.
Yeah.
If we were tattoo artists, we could have nose rings.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, we're just the guy with the nose ring now.
Yeah.
The guy that's like, hey, kids.
I got a nose
We're
ring.
Harrison Ford in a backwards hat with clothes too big.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
kids, you like my nose ring? Shut up.
So you have some more new movie news?
Jake Gyllenhaal is in talks to play Mysterio in the new Spider-Man movie.
Oh, yeah. That was linked to us via Bucky, wasn't it? That's... Okay, do you know much about Mysterio?
A little.
Okay, clue me in. I remember Mysterio, wasn't he in the original Spider-Man cartoon?
Yes.
Okay. I don't remember much more past that.
He was in the original. He was in the 90s one. He was...
Well, I count the original as the
90s,
90s, yeah.
He was a stage theater guy who did special effects for theater.
Okay.
There's probably many, many background stories for Mysterio at this point. This is the one I know.
For sure.
From Kevin Smith's Daredevil run with Mysterio.
Okay.
That he worked on special effects for movies, and that's how he has all of his special effects stuff now.
Okay.
At least the one that I know, he doesn't really have any superpowers per se.
Okay.
He's not super strong, or he might be super smart. I don't know. But yeah, he just uses special effects and holograms and stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
I like Mysterio, though, specifically from Kevin Smith's run on Daredevil with Mysterio.
So and he's going to be a villain for, or potentially rumored to be a villain for
the new Spider-Man
new Spider-Man movie? Okay.
Yeah. I don't even think it's potentially rumored. I think it's just Jake Gyllenhaal is in talks to play Mysterio.
Okay, so we know that Mysterio is going to be
in the
villain,
new Spider-Man movie.
just not necessarily that it's Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say Jake Gyllenhaal probably, if it's got this far that people are like, yeah, he's in talks to play Mysterio, he probably is going to be Mysterio in this new movie.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of things where that kind of thing will just drop off the map and then nobody ever talks about it again as to when somebody plays somebody and then it falls through.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of any particular instances, but there's one that's just in my mind's eye that I can't quite grab a hold of and remember.
Would it be the guy that you're thinking of that you mentioned in Deadpool 2 that was going to play Cable? Was there news about him being in talks to play Cable originally?
Well, I think there was, but I think that that was pretty quickly followed up with Josh Brolin taking over as Cable.
Okay.
And once that was announced, it kind of overshadowed the fact that the cameo individual, without ruining any spoilers, appears. So
also, Michael Keaton, who played the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming,
right,
is going to be in the new Spider-Man movie.
Oh, okay.
In some way. I'm not sure how, because it wrapped him up pretty good in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Did it kill him?
No, it didn't kill him, but
okay.
He was arrested. He was left tied up to the police from Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Gotcha. Well, if I remember correctly, the Vulture at some point has been part of the Sinister Six.
Mm-hmm.
So, they may be setting up for a whole Sinister Six plotline.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Because they originally announced a Sinister Six movie with...
It was Sinister Six, right? Not Sinister Seven?
Sinister Six.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. They kind of had a revolving cast, but you had Mysterio, Scorpion, Vulture, Venom was in it for a while, Dr. Octopus, the Shocker, Electro.
So, I mean, I think that would be exciting to see a full setup for a Sinister Six movie, but that means like 7 Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
At least.
Or just having multiple villains in them.
Well, yeah, I guess you could do that.
I mean, because you could have Vulture, Mysterio. This next Spider-Man movie, you could have the Rhino in the background, kind of how they did the Andrew Parker
they're doing
ones.
a Venom movie, a Venom standalone. Maybe they finally get the rights to Venom and they can work Venom in too.
Well, they've said that Venom is going to be his own thing.
Right.
Like,
still doesn't mean that he couldn't potentially join the Sinister Six Venom as a rule is a pretty standalone character. He's a loner.
Yeah.
As far as it goes. I mean, the symbiote just gets along with whoever it's symbioting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whoever it's symbioting.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is all I have as far as movie news goes.
Gotcha. So let's move on to comic news, the thing that we know the least about.
Yes.
Since we were talking about comic movies. Apparently DC is going to reset the universe again and undo Flashpoint and the New 52.
Okay.
Because why not, right?
Because you got to keep bringing people in.
I guess. See, all this does is just fucking confuse me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who's alive. I don't know who's dead. I don't know who's going to be alive and or dead.
They just need to keep creating jumping on points for people.
Is that what this is?
That's what it feels like to me anyway, in my limited knowledge of it. It seems like they're just creating like, okay, New 52 was awesome. We got some new readers. Now our numbers are starting to fall off again. So let's undo New 52. And now here's a new jumping on point for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I'm cool with like multiple dimensions and timey-wiminess to a certain extent, but this trend that not just DC is doing, but Marvel as well, to a certain extent, feels super gimmicky and unnecessary.
Oh yeah, it would have to be exhausting to be a regular reader.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm cool with just putting people in different storylines. I feel like that's how it was when we were growing up. Like, you had a story arc, and you did that story arc, and then it wasn't part of any overarching continuity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it didn't have to be. It was just a one-off story.
Yeah.
Just make it a one-off tale, you know? It doesn't have to fit into a time frame.
I think a lot of it has to do with selling more comics, because now you have this huge arcing story, and it's like, oh, you were like reading Spider-Man. Well, in Spider-Man issue 49, this character suddenly appears.
Yeah.
Who is this character? Well, you got to pick up Hulk number 8 and read Hulk number 8 through 12 to really see what this character's backstory is. It's kind of the same approach they're doing with the Marvel movies. Like we talked about with Infinity War, you really have to have seen a lot of the other movies to know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to a certain extent.
And I think that's how they kind of do it with comics, with all these overlapping stories being part of a bigger story.
Yeah.
It really pays to be the person who's reading every book.
But there comes a point where it's too much, though.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's part of the reason why the comics industry is having so much problems right now.
Yeah.
Is because of that exact reason.
Well, that, and I would assume, as we've talked about with Jordan Lowe on and or off the podcast, about just the archaic systems that they use to sell comics.
Yeah.
Versus the newer ways that they have to sell comics and all of that. I think that all plays a huge part into it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, though. It's so weird. I don't know. I just don't know if it's all necessary. That's my argument, I guess. But
necessary
anyway,
to do the reboot?
Yeah, necessary to call it a reboot, to do a reboot. Instead of just doing stories. Stick to the stories. I don't know. It seems like a pretty simple thing.
You sound like such an old man right now.
I know. I'm shaking my cane.
Just stick to the stories.
Stick to the stories, DC. We don't need these overarching community or fucking...
All right, Grandpa.
What? What are the words?
But this isn't for you anyway. You don't read comics, so it doesn't matter to you.
It kind of matters to me.
Maybe you're not their target audience.
Maybe
though.
This is the thing that's keeping me from getting back into comics.
Is it, though?
Kinda.
Yeah.
On some level, yeah. Because now I don't know what to pick up. Even if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, okay, now all of a sudden anything that I might pick up from the New 52 is going to be completely erased.
Yeah, so why am I reading this story about Wonder Woman when Wonder Woman's going to come back?
Yeah, exactly.
But different now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's all dumb. I don't like it.
I hate it.
I hate it. I hate change. But let's go ahead and move on to Marvel then. That was just a small one, just a little bit for you guys.
Little French kiss.
Little French kiss. Let me know what you think about that, for sure. If you are an avid comic reader, let me know what you think about these reboots.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what comic book readers feel about the reboots too.
Yeah.
Moving on to Marvel news, though, Marvel is introducing a new indigenous superhero. So an indigenous superhero is a superhero who, from what I understand, is fairly in touch with whatever their native background is. You know, we could be talking about Native American or an Indian or, you know, somebody who has very spiritually based Chinese powers.
Yeah, Maori.
Or Mandarin or what have you.
Mm.
So I would say that it could be argued that Black Panther is an indigenous superhero for Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
And the spirit itself lies within the technology of Wakanda, of the Black Panther.
Yeah, I could get on board with that.
I think that would be a fair assessment. I don't know if that's the case, because either way, this is going to be a teenage character from an Inuit background.
Okay.
So if you want to be less PC, Eskimo, as they were previously known far and wide.
It's crazy. I remember as a kid, everybody called them Eskimos, and learning in my special topics class, like, hey, Eskimo is actually not a great term for them.
Yeah.
Inuit's what they're called. But it wasn't like, you probably shouldn't call them Eskimos anymore.
Right.
It was just like, here's a fun little tidbit for you. Eskimos kind of derogatory. Anyway, more about Eskimos.
Yeah, for sure. But I like the exploration of this, because that isn't, I think part of the reason why, like you said, it's just kind of like, here's more information about Eskimos, is that there's not a ton that's in the media about the Inuit people.
Mm-hmm.
They're based in northern Canada and Alaska primarily. I think the thought is that when the tail end of Alaska was part of Asia, that they migrated over here before the Pacific Ocean kind of washed out that area.
Oh, yeah.
Millions of years ago. And they migrated over this way and established themselves on the west coast of what has become North America, if I remember my history right. And, they've survived in kind of a smaller tribal state for all of these years. So this new superhero is a teenage female Inuit and makes her debut in the Marvel Champion series. Her name is Amka Aliak, alias Snowguard. She comes from Nunavut, and a city that I am going to butcher, I'm sure, Pangnirtung, which is one of the 4 regions that comprise the homeland for the Inuit population of Canada. So she debuted in Champion's April 19th issue. I'm just going to kind of do this one a little more verbatim. As a normal Inuit girl whose curiosity is piqued by the sudden appearance of a mysterious factory in her community, when she decides to investigate, adventure ensues. And powered by an Inuit spirit force named Sela, Amka gains the power to shapeshift and transform into an animal form. So I guess without actually reading it, fans of the comic books will remember that the fictional superhero Spiderman, created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, began as a shy high schooler who was bitten by a radioactive spider, gaining superhuman agility. So too will Amka be struck with mythical power in Champions 20, which comes out this week, and her superhero persona Snowguard will be introduced in issue 21 to be released in June. And the whole idea of it comes from a Marvel story writer named Jim Zub. He said he had been doing Marvel stories for 3 years, and when he was on the Avengers series, he had made a few new villains and a couple of new little elements. There are Canadian superheroes at Marvel, but there haven't been any new ones in quite a while, and there haven't been any teenage heroes from Canada, he says. That's when he decided that it would be interesting to explore the Inuit culture through the eyes of a teenager. Their belief system incorporates mythological stories in which the lines between humans and animals blur. So he goes on to say that he wanted to be sure that they're being celebratory of the things that make indigenous culture special and interesting and visually compelling without falling too far into stereotypes.
I love the character design.
Yeah. It looks like her hero costume, as it were. He said that he had done quite a bit of research in traditional Inuit tattoos and clothing. And her hero costume looks like it's very reminiscent of those cultural backings.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. I like the idea of exploring the Inuit culture through comics this way.
I love the Inuit culture. I find it super interesting.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that you did.
Yeah. There's a game that came out on PC and Xbox and PlayStation called Never Alone.
Okay.
It's by, I think it's Eline Media or Eline Studios. that is an Inuit-run company that it's a Inuit folktale told in the Inuit language where you play a young girl and a fox spirit.
Oh, nice.
And it just tells a folktale. And in between each level, you unlock videos that you can watch that are actual live interviews with people from this tribe that they interviewed to tell the story.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a really cool game.
That's really cool. What was it called again?
Never Alone.
Okay.
There's Never Alone, and then there's Never Alone Foxtails, which is like an expansion for it.
Oh, neat.
But you can catch it. You should keep an eye on Humble Bundle because it goes on sale quite often for like $2.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep
But
an
it's
eye on
worth
that.
it.
That's cool.
But yeah, it tells a lot about the Inuit culture, and I kind of got into it from that.
Yeah.
And really enjoy it.
That's neat. Yeah, like I said, Inuit culture is one of those things that I imagine the further south you get, the less idea you have about it.
Yeah.
So, very interesting. I like the idea of it, so good on you, Jim Zub.
Yeah, I think this is honestly something I'll pick up to read because I'd like to read about this character. Snowguard, was that her name?
Yeah, that'll be her superhero name.
Snowguard.
But he goes on to say basically that there's going to be, a fair amount of exploration of, because of that kind of tribal nature of the Inuit culture, there's still a lot, it's like, there's still a lot of the folktales and stuff that get passed from generation to generation.
Mm.
And because of the insularness, is that a word?
Yeah.
Of the...
Insularity? I don't know if that's any more of a word. Insular nature.
The insular nature of the community. I think that there's always, as teens grow up, they want to branch out and break out and explore different parts of themselves and what is beyond their insular culture.
Yeah.
And he said that this is going to explore some of those options.
Oh, that's cool.
As the story goes along. So
I found out that they carve their folktales on the baleen of whales.
That I actually knew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard that before. He said that he wants her to be here to stay and that she will actually be joining a cast of 7 other characters, including Spider-Man, the Hulk, and Miss Marvel, to fight bad guys and change the world.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm down with this. Me
too. So we've got a few other stories, but we're going to wrap up right here because Brandon's got stuff to do and so do I.
All right. I have important stuff to do, though.
Yeah, I don't. Not so much.
You just have piddling around the house stuff.
Listen. If you have any questions or comments or you'd like to hear yourself on air, you can call us at 978-DU-OGRES. That's 978-386-4737. You can also reach us on Twitter or email us at duelingogres@gmail.com or leave a comment on the Facebook like this nice person, Brandon.
We have one comment this week from Jesse Starcher who says...
Now, before you read his comment, I want to say that the episode was a little late, partially because of editing, partially because of busyness. It came out Monday?
Yeah.
Did I get it out Monday? Or was it Sunday?
Monday at noon.
Monday at noon. So we haven't had a whole lot of time for people to completely digest it and comment on it.
Yeah, so we may have more comments on it next week.
Yeah.
So we have one comment from Jesse from the Source Material podcast who says, enjoyed hearing Bucky on the show. Source Material is going to have to get a hold of his agent.
Well, then I guess you'll have to fight dueling ogres to the death, Jesse.
We will murder you.
Bucky is ours. We've wrested him from the evil clutches of Kapow, the Pop Cultured podcast.
Thanks to the mind fuck.
The mind fuck.
Perfect.
Thanks. Speaking of source material.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Source Material. Here we are. I'm going to try and pronounce material just a little bit better because it's getting late. Source Material, the Source Material podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we are putting together.
If you want to check out the Source Material podcast, you can do so over at YouTube, or they're part of the Radulich in Broadcasting Network. So if you want to use your podcast catcher to look them up, you want to look up Radulich in Broadcasting Network. And Mark Radulich has just a ton of podcasts under his wing.
I think you can just search Source Material too.
Yeah, I think you can as well. But you can also find him on YouTube as well. He releases the episodes on YouTube at # or hashtag Source Material on YouTube. And you can find it there.
Yeah.
So I need to teach Jesse how to do marketing. Just saying. Need to spruce up his stuff. He doesn't even have a background image. Get with the times, Jesse.
So there's a little bit of
Get with the times.
Sour Patch Kids Remington there for you. Go listen to the Source Material podcast and get better at everything.
No, just marketing. I like it. I like his show. I was tuning in there for a while because he'll do the episodes live on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And there for a little while, I was tuning in every time that I could. And it's just gotten to the point where I can't tune in and do the things that I'm doing at the same time.
Yeah.
It's rough. I've made myself busy. But go make sure to drop a subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you get notified whenever he goes live.
Yeah.
Because it's fun to listen to. It's fun, especially if he has Mark Radulich and Ronnie Adams on both at the same time. The banter between Radulich and Ronnie gets pretty interesting sometimes. Yeah. For sure. So I guess also go over and check out Kapow. Tell them how much you like us better than you like them. And
yeah. Give them a listen, but begrudgingly give them a listen.
Yes. But give them a listen. So
I guess I'll listen to your podcast.
We've got to replace Bucky for them.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. All about fairness here at Dueling Ogres.
So if you want to be our sacrificial lamb to Kapow, just let us know. As Remington chugs his Diet Sunkist and the sun goes down.
We've got a spike club with your name on it. Being the sacrificial Kapow lamb.
Yeah. The spike club is to beat you to death.
Yeah.
To save you from being the sacrificial lamb. It's a real convoluted way that we do things here.
Yeah, we don't mess with streamlineness.
Yeah. Perfect, Ram. Good word.
We're just spinning this wheel as hard as we can.
Yeah, we are.
I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. Walk a fine line between funny and stupid here. Make sure to subscribe on our website at duelingogres.com so you get a monthly update on everything that we've put out.
Mm-hmm.
You can also catch me over at twitch.tv/duelingogres. You can follow us on all of our social medias. Just fucking search Dueling Ogres and we will show up.
Yes. In many places.
All the places.
Except Tumblr.
Yeah, I had a Tumblr for us, but I didn't understand it and got afraid to use it, so I didn't.
Okay. So we're not on Tumblr, but who cares?
Yeah. We are even on Pinterest and Stumbled Upon.
Stumbled Upon?
Stumbled Upon.
Wow.
In the hopes that people stumble upon us.
I haven't heard of Stumbled Upon in a long time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I was looking at something on our website or something or another, and I was like, oh, I guess I could post this to Stumble Upon. I don't even know what that is. So I went and checked it out, and I was like, this is going to be easy to set up, so I did.
So we are everywhere.
Literally.
Yeah.
And finally, be sure to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or find us on the YouTubes, the iHeartRadios, and nearly anywhere else you can find a podcast. We also had a comment. So if you remember last week, I had a brief ad and we did a review of the Studio Tray Classic Blue headphones, earbuds. I also released our review separately on our YouTube channel with a unboxing underpinned on it, on the review. Terry chimed in and said, probably perfect for listening to audiobooks and Dueling Ogres. Winky face. And to which I responded, you're probably 100% correct. Terry W. Irvin, author of several novels and stories, who has many that are available in audio format right here on Audible. Get a free 30-day trial. Hashtag shameless self-promotion. Hashtag always be plugging. Hashtag I scratch yours, you scratch mine.
Nice.
And then I also linked the Amazon affiliate code for finding his books. So absolutely go check out Terry W. Irvin or check out the Studio Tray Classics. If you go to if you click on the link in either of those descriptions previously, I'm not going to link it down in this one.
Yeah.
But if you go back an episode and click on the link there and use the code Dueling Ogres at checkout, you can get 15% off. So that was a cool little collaboration that they sent us, and I was really excited to do it all.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that kept me busy.
Terry will be having him on within the next month and a half to 2 months.
Yeah.
We'll be having Terry in studio for our yearly interview to catch up with him, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
it's always
absolutely.
great to have him.
Yep. I love him. I love him so much. I love it that he's just like, hey, when do you want to do another interview? Do you guys still want to? I'm just like, yeah, we do. Always.
Always.
If you want to drive down, we won't stop you. Mm-hmm. We like having you. So Absolutely. But that wraps us up for the evening. So until next week, ogres, keep your clubs blunt.
And your tusks sharp.
Good night.
I raised my hands when you did.
You did, and we're both hand-raising buddies.
So that wraps us up. Arms up in the air.
Arms up. Arms up.
That Play-Doh.
Ogres down. Ow. I hit my elbow on the microphone.
Oh. Arms up, ogres down.
Arms up, ogres down. New shirt idea. Arms up, ogres down.
I hate it.
Okay. Brandon hates it, so we need a vote.
That Play-Doh.
That Play-Doh.
That's the shirt we need.
That's definitely a shirt.
That Play-Doh.
That Play-Doh. And it'll just be a picture of Play-Doh playing with Play-Doh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Brandon. That's perfect.
I bet that's already a thing.
Nope. Trademarked right here. Dueling
TM,
Ogres,
Dueling Ogres
2018, May and March. Bye, everybody.
With Play-Doh.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay, finally ready to go. Brandon's ready to kill me.
Yeah, I've been ready to kill you for the past 55 minutes for me.
55? I feel like you're exaggerating. It's only been 45 that you've been willing to kill me.
No. I got here before 2 o'clock.
Like, barely.
It's 4 o'clock.
It is not.
It's like 3:58.
I'm sorry, I told you I wasn't ready. I love you. Ow. My heart.